Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. I'm tonibryanne, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about my experience dating an older man. So I've talked to maybe 2 or 3 older guys, and by older I'm not talking about an old man, I'm talking about a guy in their 30s and late 20s, and I was only 19 at the time. I haven't spoke to anybody yet in my year 20. I just turned 20 like a month and a half ago. But yeah, we're gonna break down the story time and like how it went and all that fun stuff. So let's just get straight into this video. So back in late October, it was literally Halloween day. I went into the city with my sister. You guys can actually see that vlog. I have it on my channel when I went into New York City. We went out for food and drinks because we had nothing else to do on Halloween. Due to COVID, we didn't want to go to any parties, so we're like, let's just go and treat ourselves, let's go out to eat. We haven't gone out in a while, we just got our hair done, so what the heck. So the night prior to that, this guy was messaging me. I met him on a dating app, and I matched with him, but on his dating profile he said he was 26. So 26 is still relatively old for me, a college girl still living at home right now. Well, I would be living on campus if it wasn't for COVID, but I don't have my own place yet. But I was like, you know what, whatever, it's a little bit older. He seemed like he was accomplished, so I was like, what the heck, like he might be cool. So immediately after texting him, I don't even remember giving my number, but I guess I did. So I gave him my number, and to me, he just seemed very like thirsty to talk to me. And I typically don't like that. I don't like a man that is, if I'm not attracted to you. Like I wasn't fully attracted to him, like he looked a little bit old to me, so I just didn't really care to give him my number, but I don't know why, but he just seemed very pressed, like to always see me. He was calling me. I'm like, why are you calling me? Like, you're weird. Like, don't do that, whatever. Fast forward like about a month later, that's when we went out to eat and get some drinks. And I remember he was texting me the night before, and he was like, oh, like, let's hang out. You know, I'm having this party at my house. And I was like, well, I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. He lived in New York City, by the way, in Manhattan, and I lived in Jersey. So I was like, well, I'm coming into the city tomorrow, which was Saturday, the day of Halloween. So I was like, it doesn't make any sense. He's like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna have some friends over the next day too, so you should come over. I was like, oh, I'll think about it. So my sister and I were like, okay, we might find some plans out in New York. Like we didn't know if we were gonna find plans because she had some friends out in the city. I don't really have friends out in the city, but we were like, we'll find something. While we were finishing our meal on Saturday, we were like, okay, like we were a little bit tipsy. We were like, okay, we have nowhere to go, like nothing to do. We didn't want to go back home because it was still relatively early. It was like 10 o'clock. We're like, okay, well, not even 10. I think it was like 8 or something. And we were like, okay, we're just gonna go. Like, let's hang out with him, whatever. So we went over. First, we were like, okay, do you have like any friends coming over? Because he said that he was gonna be like a little party. So yeah, I do have a friend that's gonna come. Blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, my sister could talk to that guy. I'll talk to him, whatever. So we go. And I remember the first time I saw him, I was like, he looks old. He had like gray in his beard. And I was like, he's kind of old. Like, I don't know. I'm like, he looks older than 26. He was very tall, and his friend was really tall too. They were like at least 6. They had to be like 6'3", 6'4". But they were like big guys, and me and my sister are really tiny. Like we're like 5'2". My sister's 5'1", I'm 5'2", and we're small. We're small girls, so whatever. So we already thought that was like, okay, he's really big. So my sister's talking to her guy or whatever. I'm talking to my guy, and I remember like the first experience like of really talking to him. He seemed like, I don't know how his age slipped up, but I remember we were talking, and I was like, I think I said, how old are you, by the way? And he was like, oh, I'm 34. I was like, 34? I was like, I thought you said you were 26. He's like, did I say that? I was like, on your dating profile, you definitely have 26 up there. And he's like, oh, maybe I like accidentally put that. I'm like, how do you accidentally put, you know, it'd be different if you had like 26 and 62 because you could like switch those numbers around. So I was like, you know, like you can't just make that mistake. And then I remember he was like, he's 34. I was like, well, you know, I'm 19, right? He's like, well, yeah. And I was like, okay, well, it didn't really bother him. And we were like talking, and like as we're talking, I was just getting that whole feeling of him trying to groom me. He had a very nice apartment, don't get me wrong. We got to the apartment. It was a very nice apartment building, very nice apartment. It's in Manhattan, the west side, upper west side apartment, very nice, right near my grandmother's house actually. But it was really nice, new building, whatever. So he was successful, like I told you guys. Like he did have like a good job. He was an entrepreneur, all that stuff, so cool. But like I could tell he definitely was grooming me. Like, you know, I'm seeing like he has a nice place. He's telling me about his job a little bit, and he's like, yeah, like, you know, like the girl I want, like I don't want her working, like I just like to go on vacations, we're always going out to eat, we're doing all this, that, and third, da, 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 da. And you know, I'm talking about like what I do. I was talking about my YouTube channel, like being in school and doing all the stuff I do at school. And he's like, yeah, like you're so like motivated, you have all this going for you, like that's so dope, whatever, blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, but I just did not like the feeling of him like grooming me. Like it just felt really weird, like him just trying to tell me about all the lavish things, like what I could do and da 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 da, and how he could like mentor me. I'm like, but for me it's like, how are you gonna mentor me and stuff, but you also like want to you don't want me doing any work? Like it was just weird to me. So that was the night. So the night we basically were at his place. We were like there was like drinks and like little chips and dip, you know. It was just the four of us, and it wasn't horrible for me. It was just he was just very like pressing, and I just felt uncomfortable by that. I don't like that, especially if it's our first time meeting. But it wasn't like uncomfortable to the point where I wanted to leave that night. Like, it was all right. It was just I had to like keep checking in, like, okay, I'm good, like, you know, that type of vibe. But yeah, overall it wasn't like a bad time. So when I got back home that night, I got home like 2 o'clock in the morning, and right away he's like texting me and just like texting me like really weird things, and just was like, okay, like, you're doing too much. I wake up, text me really weird things, doing too much. And it's like, all right, you're doing a lot. And like, I wouldn't text him back, but he just kept messaging me and talking to me like, I want to do this, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward a week later, like he's in Cancun. He messages me saying like, hey, I'm in Cancun. Like, do you want to come through? Like, I want you to come. I want to fly you out here. Sounds cool, right? Like, you know, it's cool. But for me, it's like, you already lied about your age. You're doing too much. Like, I just didn't feel comfortable doing that. And that whole grooming thing, I just do not like that concept. And I know some girls are built for it. I'm just not that girl that's built for it. I don't judge any girl that uses a guy for money or only hangs out with him because he has money, or they actually like that as an advantage. But it's just not for me. The way I go about things, I can't. I've tried it. I could have easily. I talked to like a few guys that like, quote unquote, had money or was like in the NFL, NBA, cool, that's cool and all, but like, I don't know, I just can't. We don't vibe, we don't have a good connection. If you make me feel uncomfortable, I just can't do it. That like just kind of dwindled down. I didn't really like it, so I cut him off. He would send me long messages about how he wants to be with me. Then he ended up changing it to like he just wanted to be like a beneficial thing, like friends with benefits. I'm like, you just said you want to be with me, now you want to be friends with benefits. I'm like, no, I'm good, love. So I just kind of cut that off. So that was that man. He lied about his age. It just did not sit right with me, and he kept denying that he lied about his age. That was just weird, and I just had to cut him off. We're gonna go into the next guy I talked to that was older. So the next guy that I talked to that was older, I actually spoke to him first. I spoke to him like fresh when COVID started. So I think like March or April, me and him started texting. He was a really cool guy. I liked him. Taller guy, attractive. So he was 26. I think he was 26, and he was 26 and turning 27. And we had a good connection, I think. But the only thing about him was he kind of like really bored me. Like he was talking about all the things that are extremely important to talk about. And I'm like, yes, those things we need to talk about. So he would talk about like credit, taxes, stocks, all that stuff. That stuff is amazing. It's cool. But like, I'm at the age right now where, and I'm very mature for my age. I get that all the time. I am a very mature girl for my age. But it's just like, if that's like all we talk about, I think it's very important to talk about those things. But if that's all we talk about, that's all he ever wanted to talk about. And then he always talked about himself. Like, he never seemed engaged and wanted to talk about me or understand what I was doing. I was bored, and I was like, okay, we're just like at different stages in our life, and I just couldn't do it. So like, we're still cool now. I know he's in a new relationship. He's a cool guy. We still like DM each other here and there. Not on like any romantic stuff, just like complimenting each other's hustle or whatever. But like, yeah, it was just like the age gap was just too much, and I just don't think I could date somebody like that much older than me. I think the oldest I'll go now is to like 25, 26 is pushing it, but like I feel most comfortable like if he's 23, 24 and 25. Yeah, 23 to 25 is where I'm good, but after that it's like, you know, like with the 34-year-old guy, like I thought it would have been cool, like, you know, just to like, he would spoil me and take me out and all that stuff, but it's like, I don't know, like maybe, I don't know if I would have done it if I lived closer, but like, I don't know, I just don't think I'm built for it. But like, it could have been an interesting time, but like, it was just him lying and then him being weird. I'm like, oh, like I don't like that. Like, just be upfront with your age, just be honest. Like, he clearly just put his age as 26 because he wanted to attract younger girls, and I just don't like that. It doesn't sit right with me. Why can't you get women your own age? And he kept talking about like how women, when they get like past 25, they're like washed up and stuff, and I was like, 25 is still young. I'm like, so you're just like, why don't older women want you? Like, that's just weird. Like, I'm literally a child still. Like, I wasn't even 20 yet. I was still a teenager, and you're talking about women being washed up at 25 that want so much, and they just are. I was like, okay, yeah, I don't know. So that is my experience dating older men, and like I said, I would not be going back. I just don't think I will. I think recently I talked to this guy he was entrepreneur, successful, 27. Except I stopped talking to him because he didn't apply enough pressure, in my opinion. Like, I don't want to be texting all day. If you want to like meet up, like let's meet up. And that just kind of blew over, and like he was just kind of weird, and then it was just a mess. So that didn't work out. But yeah, get a man that applies pressure, get a man that you feel comfortable with. Even if he is older, like I'm all for like dating older guys, but like make sure you guys are comfortable and y'all both mesh. Most of the time guys that are like in their 30s do not want anything to do with a 19-year-old or a 20-year-old because we're so young, and if they do, there's probably something wrong with them, honestly, because why aren't they talking to women their own age, or even like a woman that's like 25, like 35, 34, 35, and 24 and 25, that's already a big age gap. But at least 23 and 24-year-olds, at least most of them, they kind of have it together a little bit more than a 19 or a 20-year-old. So like, why aren't you talking to girls like that? Like, why do you want to talk to children? Like, I feel like a lot of it is like a fetish kind of. Guys get excited about talking to like younger girls because it's like, oh my god, like she's young, like she's not super experienced. But it's like, I don't know, that just doesn't really sit right with me. But yeah, so that is my story time about dating an older guy and my opinions and my experience and whether or not I would say date an older guy. Like I said, just make sure they're not weirdos and make sure y'all mesh and y'all actually can talk about the same things. But most of the time, guys that are older that date young girls, there's probably something wrong with them. So be on the lookout of that. So that is the end of this video. If you guys like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Comment down below your experience of dating an older guy. If you're interested in dating an older guy, if you've never dated an older guy, or if you would never date an older guy. I would love to know. And I will see you all in my next video. Love you guys. Bye. Mwah.